Konbanwa agents, welcome back to No One Lives Forever 2.
It's safer to avoid them. Avoid the main gate. Too many guards. Good luck.
We're still here in Japan trying to track down the director so we can take a photo of him and try and get an idea of what they're up to. Inside the package here we have the utility launcher. It's a silenced pistol. It's got a single shot, but it fires various kinds of darts, tracking darts, tranquilizer darts.
It's been very quiet. Good.
As it is, the tranquilizer darts aren't too useful on this mission, but they will definitely be more useful later on missions where, well, we're not allowed to kill anybody. But I will briefly show one off and then completely screw up the use of it.
Is someone there?
See, what I should have done is just peeked around the corner for a while instead of, you know, bodily moving out. And what I should have done here, instead of getting fancy and using the stun gun, is just give her a bolt to the face.
You're in trouble now.
If you do happen to use a stun gun, it does take a little while to reload. But Hattori-san has already taken off, and I'm sitting here wondering, oh, where did you come from?
You can't hide.
These things happen.
Here I come.
So I don't know if I mentioned it, but guards that come when alarms are rung, they usually don't carry any too much additional ammo on them. It's probably a way to try and get around you farming guards for ammo, I guess? It could just be this area, since they only carry shurikens and katanas anyway. The other letter we found asked us to go around and look for these chalk marks in front of doors and erase them, so that they can, those chalk marks indicate doors that are supposed to be used for illicit package drops. And by erasing them, we can redirect those packages to, well, somewhere where we would want them. There is an intel letter around here somewhere. It's usually hidden under a door, and I didn't find it on this playthrough. But it's Hattori-san giving a update to somebody on, well, they were looking into the director, some European guy who had purchased a house here in Japan recently. I found it on every other playthrough, but not this one, so, well, lucky me. Also, because of the way this game checkpoints, my playthroughs are not going to be consecutive, so I may have more or less skill points at any given point in the playthrough. Our second chalk mark is over here, and while normally, well, our objective is right on the other side of this door, but it's barred from the inside, so we won't be able to go in this way. If you recall the little diagram from the last mission, it does say that there are a lot of guards here, and Hattori-san points out it as well. So it's in our best interest to go the long way around. Now you may notice there's that little cottage there with an open window on the left. That is an entrance to the building, or into the interior. But I don't want to take that one because, well, we'll miss out on some stuff. But if you're trying to be extra sneaky and don't worry about finding all the other stuff in this mission, you can absolutely go that way. The reason I'm taking the long way around is also because our third check mark is on the far side of this little neighborhood. So for us to complete that submission, we have to go all the way over there.
Such a nice evening. Too bad we have to work.
It'll probably be raining this weekend.
Dang, that lady has got some ups. I don't believe she jumps out of the map. I think she just patrols around out of bounds for a while. I'm sure she'll be back, though. See, now, I thought she saw me, but it turns out when they're running, they just kind of lift their hand up and point. And then die unceremoniously. You know, as ninjas often do. If movies from the 80s have taught me anything, it's that ninjas are the ultimate cannon fodder. We do pick up more tracking darts, which, as I said, we won't have too much use for just yet. But we'll be getting more used to them out of a future mission. There's the start of a conversation going on here where a ninja is asking another one for the time, and then the other one says she doesn't have a watch. The first one asks why, and
Ninjas can tell time by the slit of a cat's eye.
That only works during daylight. Besides, what happens if you don't have a cat handy?
That's why I always carry dried fish.
Isn't it easier just to wear a watch? Never mind, I'll go ask somebody else.
now, the sharp-eyed among you might have noticed that there was a letter sticking out of that mailbox that I just passed by. I did not notice that, and that's where that other letter was. So, now you know. Ninjas can tell time in the slit of a cat's eye. Is that a real thing? I mean, I would assume it's a real thing. People attribute all sorts of, very mystical things to ninjas. I'm going to go ahead and spend some points on searching, because in addition to searching bodies, it also comes in handy when you search through another type of intel. Sometimes you'll find these little stacks of papers, and to find what's inside the stacks, you have to fully search it. So this is another piece of little sub-skill points for us, is finding all 4 pages of this letter from Isako, the director's ninja henchman, and figuring out why exactly she feels this loyalty towards the director. Those pages are scattered around throughout this little this area before we get to the main house, so it's entirely doable, and the skill point reward is well worth it. And if you had decided to jump in the window earlier, this is where you would have come in.
I know you're there! What happened? I'm sorry. Sound the alarm!
The ninjas in this area are extremely alarm happy, so, I mean, if the alarm sounds, don't panic. Just take care of business.
Are you all right? I will avenge you. Where are you?
Yes, but who will avenge you?
Uh-oh! Ah! You won't get away from...
overall, I really do like this area. It's a nice little introduction to the concept of, well, if guards sound alarms, you can hide from them. It's kind of nice. It gives you some of the new intel to search through. And it's a fairly wide open area where you can approach in more than one direction, which is nice. It's not a great introduction to the guns, to the game's gunplay, but that'll come later. And of course, by searching some of the other intel letters, we can not only find out Isako's motivation, but we can also find out that, well, all the other ninjas really know that the director is obviously using her, so why is she doing this? And as it looks, Isako has a very, very strong sense of honor. Of course, why wouldn't she? Honor is a great thing for a criminal to have.
I noticed she's been gaining a lot of weight recently.
All she does is sit around eating mochi and watching detective shows.
She needs to find a man to take care of her.
No one wants her. She's too shy. Maybe if she was prettier. But she can't even talk to men.
What about Kenichi's son? He's a little slow, but he's still nice looking.
She'd never agree. She's too picky.
What's wrong with her?
So I'm not really sure where this game falls on the Bechdel test as compared to the last one. A lot of the ninjas we've encountered have been talking about, well, their love lives and where they stand in relation to their boyfriends. That's,
Get up!
I mean,
I'm sorry.
it makes sense, I guess. I mean,
know
you
you're
talk
here
about love
somewhere.
life, that's a thing. But,
I'll find you.
eh.
You can't hide.
Oh, yes, I can. The eyeball tells me so. The shurikens do less damage than the crossbow bolts, but if you can catch an enemy unawares, usually the shurikens will still be a nice single-shot kill. Now, I am going to pull out the coins here because there's always one ninja up here who I never see coming, but she always spots me when I walk into this area, and I'm not exactly sure where she comes from. But I'm getting pretty tired of her crap. Unfortunately for her, bolts fly much faster than ninjas. I mean, it's fortunate for me. I won't turn it down. I'm not exactly sure how many of these spy training manuals are around, but I do know they're darn near everywhere. Anytime you see one of those little blue books, pick it up. So it turns out Isako's story is that she was taken in as an orphan and given over to a ninja clan. And at 14, her assassination attempt was foiled by the man who hired her to do the assassination. However, a nice European man, the director, saved her life. So, despite her distaste for the director's methods and his, actions, she feels she has a very strong debt of honor to repay, and Isako does have a very strong commitment to her honor, as we saw from the other letters. There is one last piece of intel here. This one spells out for you very plainly. There's a special thing coming up. If you make too much noise and an alarm goes off, you'll miss out on a bunch of skill points. And then you'll be sad. There are 2 ninjas around this area, and if they spot you, much like all the other ninjas, they will immediately rush for the alarm, and they'll try to set it off. If they do, you'll lose out on the skill point reward. And that door is the barred door we saw from before, where we scratched out that second chalk mark. But all we have to do is go around this corner to this little alcove here, and then we need to take a picture.
Sensei, the spy is here.
Kill her.
Uh-oh.
And now it's time to exfiltrate. We did get 800 skill points for that, so again, not setting off that alarm is very valuable. But all we have to do now is make our way back to where we entered, and we should be good.
You've given yourself away!
Ooh, that's a lot of ninjas.
There you are! That hurt! Come back here!
And with that, we are out of here. With one last note to spare.
So it was a trap. But But why? Don't be naive. You have many enemies. Which one sent you? A secret admirer, then? How flattering. I'm impressed. I didn't expect you to make it this far. I'm sorry.